This alfalfa in western Arizona's Butler Valley was planted as food for dairy cows in Saudi Arabia. But it may never reach the kingdom because state officials are canceling the contract over what they say are a range of citations for failing to comply with the terms of the lease. Growing alfalfa in Saudi Arabia is restricted due to water conservation measures in the mostly arid country, so the Fondamonte subsidiary of a Saudi dairy company bought this land near the town of Vicksburg, and it has been using non-renewable groundwater to grow feed for the Middle Eastern country's livestock. Last month, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs said it was unacceptable that Fondamonte was pumping unchecked amounts of groundwater out of the state. She terminated one of the company's leases and said 3 others would not be renewed. Arizona limits groundwater use in urban areas such as Phoenix, but not in rural areas that make up nearly 80% of the state. Sarah Porter directs the Kyle Center for Water Policy at Arizona State University.
In the unregulated areas, in rural Arizona, if you own the land, you can drill a well and use as much as you want as long as you don't waste it.
State officials say Fondamonte has repeatedly violated lease terms, including failing to reinforce fuel containers. In a statement to VOA, the company said it would appeal the governor's decision and continue to work with the state to demonstrate its compliance with the current lease requirements. Large-scale agriculture is a big part of Arizona's landscape. In neighboring Mojave County, corporate agriculture uses nearly 70% of the groundwater, says Board of Supervisors Chairman Travis Lingenfelter.
We have historical ranching families, multi-generational ranching families that have huge head of cattle. They're not going to use anywhere close to the amount of water that some of these large corporate farms from international or out of state are using.
But canceling the Saudi leases may not substantially change groundwater use here in the Butler Valley.
Then there will have to be a plan for what to do with that piece of land, and it very likely could remain in agriculture, using up groundwater under the lands just as the current tenant is doing.
The Arizona State Land Department says it is conducting a study on how to best use the land once Fondamonte's lease expires.
And I don't think it feels any different for the people whose wells are imperiled that it's a U.S. company than it would if it were a Saudi company. It's really the absence of regulation of groundwater that's the issue here.
In a statement to VOA, Fondamonte said that it aimed to be a good steward of the state's limited water resources, investing significantly to conserve water wherever possible, and that it would continue to work with Arizona officials on groundwater issues. Levi Stallings, VOA News, Vicksburg, Arizona.